As the Boston Celtics get closer and closer to their push to be back-to-back NBA champions, we are unfortunately starting to see the injury reports start to stack up, and Jaylen Brown has been the latest victim. He has already missed 3 straight basketball games. What exactly has been going on with Brown, and when is he able to get back healthy to help the Boston Celtics push to the playoffs? Welcome to Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and if you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. This is the time to subscribe. We are in the home stretch of the regular season. Playoffs are right around the corner, so go on ahead, hit that sub button for me. Help us reach 47,200 by hitting that sub button today. The Boston Celtics, I know, they don't have the most glorious remaining regular season schedule left. A lot of West Coast games. Really, the only opponent I would say keep an eye out for is the New York Knicks, and that's later in April. But Boston is in a crucial time right now as the playoffs are right around the corner because, number one, you are not the number one team in the Eastern Conference, which I'll touch on a little bit later in the show. But number two, you want to make sure everybody's healthy, that you're resting but winning, that you don't have any lingering issues that could possibly arise later down the road. And so when you've got a guy like Jaylen Brown who has been absolutely incredible throughout the month of March, that's when you start to get very excited about the playoffs. But then injuries happen. And so far through 6 games, he's averaging nearly 20 points a game, 6 boards, 5 assists, shooting 40% from the field. His 3-point percentage, isn't my favorite, but we've also known that Jaylen Brown has kind of shifted to not so much take as many threes, but use that muscle and drive inside. So what exactly has been going on with Jaylen Brown if he was playing so great in March? Well, you guys have to throw it back a couple of games. 4 games ago, he did get injured in the third quarter against the Brooklyn Nets. He did not return for the fourth quarter. But then the Boston Celtics put out a statement on Jaylen Brown's injury, and they said Celtics forward Brown has been diagnosed with a bone bruise with posterior impingement in his right knee. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to act like I know what a posterior impingement is, but it doesn't sound fun. He'll miss the next 2 games and will be reevaluated on Monday. So he already missed a game with the against the Portland Trailblazers. And knowing that we still have more games to go, how will that reevaluation look? Because for Jaylen Brown, this sucks. He was playing great basketball throughout the month of March. He was really starting to find his footing with the starting 5 that hasn't played that many games here together. And that's why it also sucks for Boston, is because they need more repetition with that starting 5. They've only played 20 games together out of 82 so far this season. So we need Brown to get healthy so we can have our starting 5 get their last bit of repetition in before they go into the playoffs. And not to mention on a personal level, Chris Forsberg did point this out here. Jaylen Brown is at 56 games played. He needs 9 more for all NBA eligibility. Out next 2, which will be reevaluated, he'll have only 11 possible games if you include Monday's visit to Sacramento. Not that this is obviously on the number 1 list of priorities for the Boston Celtics or Jaylen Brown right now, but it does suck because Brown's having a phenomenal year. Coming off of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals and Finals MVP, Brown is really starting to hit his stride. And he's currently been neglected from the All-NBA team last year. He has not been on the All-NBA team since 2023, so I'm sure that's a personal accolade, whether he'll want to share it or not, that he would like to hit. So he wants to get healthy, to have those personal goals, but also just to help out Boston in their final push for the regular season. So overall, getting Brown healthy for the playoffs is a number 1 priority. I am not trying to take away from that at all. But thankfully, knowing that he's getting reevaluated, knowing it is a bone bruise, which it is very tough, but it could be a lot worse, believe me, you just really can't afford to have him benched down the line. So take as many games as you need in the regular season. We are well above the New York Knicks and slightly behind the Cleveland Cavaliers, but to get Brown healthy for the playoffs and make sure he has no pain in the next couple of weeks, that is what is important. And if you guys want to get Jaylen Brown healthy, go on ahead and like this video for me if you guys haven't already. I know you guys want to see Jaylen Brown highlights. I mean, obviously I do too. So be sure to hit that like button for me if you guys haven't already. Can Boston even catch up to Cleveland? Is this still actually a race that the Celtics are trying to complete? Well, we're going to break that down here in just one moment. But first, let me tell you guys real quick about our sponsor on today's show, which of course is Prize Picks. If you guys want to go ahead and test out your skills on the daily fantasy sports app, go on ahead and download the app today. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The app is really easy to use, very simple. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite basketball players with players from baseball, hockey, esports, and much more. Now, playoffs are not the only thing that are right around the corner. Of course, as you guys know, it's getting warmer outside, which means baseball season is almost here. I'm going to have Paul Skeens to have more than 215.5 pitcher strikeouts for the entire baseball season, and Aaron Judge to have less than 49.5 home runs. These are my Prize Picks. If you guys want to go on ahead and copy your own, just download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. So can the Boston Celtics actually catch up to Cleveland, or is this pretty much a fever dream? Because while we have been very equipped in knowing what first place feels like, we have sat in the back seat for majority of the NBA season in the Eastern Conference. That's because Cleveland has absolutely dominated. And still, it's a bit of a stretch to keep up with them. But the last couple of games is what's starting to give myself and you guys some hope that maybe Boston can still be the number one seed. In the last 5 games towards the end of the regular season, noticing a difference here? Boston's playing pretty freaking well right now. 5-game win streak, not to mention 4 out of the 5 games are on the road. But Cleveland, wow, oh wow. They have lost 4 out of the 5. And notice there, on the road, on the road, on the road. Cleveland, we know, is the best team at home in the NBA. Boston is the best team on the road. The reason why Boston wants to catch up to Cleveland is for home court advantage. Cleveland's not good on the road, as you guys can tell. And those are with their starters fully healthy and playing. So can Boston catch up to Cleveland while they're still 5.5 games behind? The answer is yes. Will it be easy? That answer is going to be no. Thankfully, we are so well above the New York Knicks. I believe we're about 7.5, 8.5 games ahead in New York, don't quote me on that we can afford to just focus on Cleveland, not so much worry about who is behind us right now. But with the last 10 games of the regular season, it's going to have to be perfection. And with the injuries starting to pile up, you have to really be cautious about how hard do I push and how hard do I rest. So that is going to be what Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics have to figure out moving forward, because if Boston has the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, this changes everything. Home court advantage changes everything for Boston. And it makes it a lot tougher to beat them. Cleveland, Orlando, Indiana, New York, whoever we end up playing in the Eastern Conference, it makes it a lot tougher when Boston is the number 1 seed. But the good news is that Boston is on the right side to catch up to Cleveland. They're on the winning side. Now, Cleveland, losing 4 out of the last 5 games, it's not just Boston has to win every game for the last 10 games. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers have to lose, have to keep losing, have to keep sliding down the mudslide. And the way that Cleveland's playing, yeah, they got a win over the Utah Jazz, but a lot can happen in the next 10 games, and I don't want Cleveland to scare us off. Because we're right there. We're neck and neck with them. And even if we get the second place in the Eastern Conference, it's still going to be okay. I still have faith in our roster. But Boston has to win the next 10 games. And Cleveland has to continue to lose. And that could be a little bit harder than for Boston to win. So let me ask you guys this. Can Boston take over the number 1 spot, or am I just wasting my breath over here? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys haven't already. I personally think they can, but it's going to take a lot of factors for this to happen. If you guys haven't already, go on ahead, hit that sub button for me on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. That way you guys are in the know about anything and everything Boston Celtics basketball.